get an afro pick, man. I mean, there's one thing that clowns are known for, and it's of course their fashion sense. He needs it, man.
He needs it. But Guard, they need this win. They need to get things going. This team, your former champions in Stage 1, now the series down and evening the odds in this one. It looks like they want to fight early for space towards the north side. The map, but so too to Ghost. John holds strong for the first frag, and Net gets nothing done either.
Oh, Trent's immediately putting up, again, this little stack wall that he could potentially hold on with. But even more importantly, the counter smoke is going to completely shut this down.
And so much committed for no real gain just yet. Guard are now in a position where they're worried. Someone could have walked up towards B in the meantime. While they heavily rotated towards this A site, someone could have walked over towards their spawn. So much space is open. Valorant is looking to exploit that, but on the other side, Ghost is still towards Dish. They've just paused.
Yeah.
Waited.
Yep, 55 seconds left. Fracture is a massive, massive map. If they are putting on contacts back over in A, it's not exactly a bad idea.
Was that close enough
for
for the heal to be
take
heard?
this time? I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe that breach could have heard it, but they definitely haven't said anything because of it, because of the heal. But again, Koala Noob, he's been the one kind of shifting back over in B. Hasn't seen anything, hasn't heard anything. It's a full rotation.
Yeah, this is really well played. Ghost just do a little prodding over towards A, and Guard, they take their gamble over towards that site. It's the incorrect assumption, and now wide open is the B spike site. John will get spike planted on down, and the post line positioning is stellar here for Ghost. They have a player over towards the north side of the map. That's a Proto to hold space there. They have their chamber in close with the rendezvous, and the sage wall, which is so incredibly potent in these pistol rounds, is up and buying time.
Breaking down the wall. They are just trying to find any sort of pick that they can find in the middle of this site, but more importantly, Ghost, they're not giving any of those pixels. They're only playing crossfires right now, but Trent does a great job of fishing for one, that's for sure. John QT going fast and furious, just shifting his way through, getting the frag, just spraying away, and he actually survives with only one minuscule HP, but it's the one round that Ghost gets back to start off Fracture.
Yeah, really nicely played there out of Ghost Gaming. Really heavily towards the north side of the map. Initially, they claim that space, and then it's just the patience. They know that Guard is a team that in the mid-round, they like to re-aggress. They like to fight forward. If Net's alive, they'll flash, take these duels, re-push for space. It's what you got to do on Fracture. And while Guard didn't commit to any of those forward fights, they took their gamble, and it was on the wrong side. Nothing doing for Guard in this round. They'll just try and deal as much damage as they possibly can. As Ghost Gaming, you like to see if you're a fan of them, getting a little bit of momentum back with 6.
With this round for Ghost, again, not a single real risky approach, except for maybe Koala Noobs, that's for sure. I mean, completely solo up A, but again, it's that group approach back over in Dish that we already saw before. Nobody here from the Guard can realistically do anything to stop it. That's slower. Definitely a decent idea, but more importantly, the wall goes up, nobody can actually get a crossfire in. Trent is going to be the only person that can make damage, and indeed he's not able to get anything. 3 players now remaining for the Guard. I
love that for Ghost as well. They see one player over towards the flank, they think, hey, there's probably a stronger force in this direction, so they fully commit to fighting it out as a team, and well, they were correct, just maybe the timing was a little bit off, but all the same, it'll work out. Stun goes on forward, the players for Guard are pressured towards the spawn, and Ghost will establish for this post.
One enemy remaining.
Trying to find these finishing frags, and indeed they find it. A Prime Gaming flawless. A good one there from Ghost again. Not a lot of lurks going on in that round, of course, like we ended up seeing before, just off of that first round. But again, I'm actually a little bit worried now. How is the Guard going to react to that? Are they always going to have potentially 1 or 2 people on lurk? Is that going to be a bit of conditioning?
I don't know. I think that this map is always one where you're going to see those flanks come on through. It's what you have to do on the defensive side. If you're rotating constantly through spawn, you're losing so much potential of this map. External control is everything, and especially post-chamber nerf, with only 1 of those trademarks down, I think it's normally worth it for a defender to take the risk and push, because worst-case scenario, run into trademark. Base-case scenario, there's a vulnerable flank, and you can take advantage of it.
Need to counteract this space taking, it seems, but now the Guard Okay, decent early smoke. They can actually play around with this a little bit, but they might be trusting the smoke just a bit too much. Koala Noob looking to swing out, and he might be able to find Jonah P, but Jonah P drops down. Net having to deal now with Arcade, alongside with another player over towards Heaven. It's a double crossfire, and I'm still wondering if Koala Noob is ever going to pop out. That is that one kill over towards Heaven, but that is sight being taken. Koala Noob does have full line of sight now. Ghost, still 3 players stuck in Arcade.
This is dangerous. If these players over towards Heaven die, that's guns given away. The swing is good. 2 players up. The trades stay even, but that's so favorable for Ghost. Guns are recovered. Space is gained. Let's stay patient. They're just holding towards spawn. A gap in the smoke. Trent takes such advantage of it.
Yeah, I love that little spot, playing whack-a-mole with the stairs, and indeed Trent will never miss a shot like that. And Saya player gets an easy one in the middle of sight. The guard land on their feet. It's a 1-2.
No tomfoolery. No bonus rounds lost. Just nice, fair Valorant. You love to see it. Ghost Gaming now will have a pretty good investment coming on through. They commit to this attacking-sided operator for Koala Noob. I wonder if that means that they'll slow things on down, take a pause here, post a trademark on one side, maybe put that op out towards the other, or similar solution, you put the trademark on one side of the south side of the map, side of a side, we're talking in like 5 dimensions here, and he'll hold on to the other area over towards A main while his team just works space out towards Dish.
Oh, that wall.
They found my trap.
Great pressure now that Koala Noob not able to knock it down. Saya player, that first contact. Back in Dish. It's a massive frag to start things off. But Nismo, okay, is going to get revived. They do potentially need that util, but more importantly, they just need the bodies. They do back out of Dish.
And still Ghost is holding. They're trying to see if Guard will push something back on in off that resurrection. Nothing does come. Now they only have 1 minute on this clock to work with. Koala Noob still holding down the fort on the south side of the map, but the setup for Guard is really passive. Again, it's that double hold towards Heaven on B, but Brent falls first over towards his A site. Now Ghost Gaming, it seems like they just want to rotate back over towards A off of this. There is 2 players to hold, but Jonah has no real utility to work with, and he might be going towards the wrong side here, making the decision at this moment. Does stick around to support Saya, but again, it's Ghost with the patience.
And the Boombot doesn't find anything.
30 seconds left.
Just going to be this approach now for Ghost that would be pretty much the same amount of risk if they went over to B. The 2 players here maintaining their spots, maintaining the hold, but the aftershock is so good! And the satchel from above actually kills him. That is too good.
That's just unlucky, man.
From above taking him down.
You lose so much HP to an accidental aftershock that you back into and then just killed by a blast pack in midair. A heartbreaker, but Net is still alive. He has a good position here, stunning towards the corner. Not sure if he connects onto a proto, but Net still ready for it. He's brought this down to a 2 versus 2, but now it's just him. It's a clutch in the 1 versus 2.
Net's looking for at least that pick over up in Heaven, but again, Koala Noob, a good angle. He's able to give Ghost a 3rd. Now the Guard, their cash is actually a bit weird here. They're not going to be able to buy.
Yeah, a bit of a tough spot for them, Ghost Gaming. I mean, what a way to
look at this. The Goomba stomp.
Bonk. Poor side player. Oh no, Jonah does get the revenge in the end on that round, but reset. We move on.
Too good. We're here. The Garden, they're also reset almost literally again, their economy. Going all the way down to just about that 2K. So Ghost, again, not a lot to deal with in terms of potentially their usual split approach.
Yeah, but they prioritize getting Saya player's ultimate online, so Total Force available. Valen's already walking around on a flank. Nothing's actually holding this unless the Proto goes back to check. He will, but not close enough. Valen, a right click. Gun recovered now. They have to get rid of him, and they do 1 for 1.
That could have been so huge for Valen. Any sort of mileage that Valen gets is just more of a positive for the Guard. It's just more overwhelming pressure from Arcade because, again, it was only 1 person here, and it's Nismo. Nismo trying to go through. Natty gets found, but the Showstopper actually gets wasted on him. Jonah P waiting around the corner trying to find one, but he was actually paying attention to Tunnel instead, and Saya player Last one remaining in that 1v4 goes down, and that was actually the Tort, of course, getting knocked down too. So yeah, is what we expected though. 4th round for Ghost.
I wouldn't hate to see Guard just take a pause here and try and turn this one back in towards their favor, because they've run up a lot of the really big ults in this one. I think their setup at a core is pretty good. They're generally holding the kind of the Brim brothers, the Breach, the Brim over towards Heaven on B, using that utility to kind of hold down the fort, and then over on the A side playing a little bit more heavily off that Sage Wall. But Ghost Gaming, they just wait so long in these rounds. They wait for that Sage Wall to naturally decay. They hold these angles with an op. And Guard is a team that likes to kind of take the mid-round repeats off of a flash. Their composition, obviously the only piece of information is a Breach flash going forward off of that. So you're kind of forced to. And Ghost has done really well to deny that.
Ooh. You hear the sound of the wall back over in A main, and it's quite a bit of control to say the least. A deep, deep Sage Wall into A main, right as Ghost actually approach back. And they're actually going to go up with a counter, and at the exact same time, this is pretty good. Koala Noob heading up B.
They'll hear this, though. Rolling Thunder goes on in towards A. That's from the defensive side, but nobody's here.
And they're wasting another ulti there?
Yeah, what a faux pas.
Are they actually going to use it?
Oh,
They're going to use the showstopper back over in main. They're not even going to use it at all. What was even the point? Now Nets, he just runs away. That's good. Needs to stay safe here on site. Again, it is just control for Ghost.
I mean, the reason is they think that that's going to be a fight from two sides. They want to hold on to at least some area. I think at a core, it's not necessarily a terrible play, but it's a gamble that doesn't work out. And now Nismo, he's able to find a frag in this one. Full rotations coming out from the Guard, but Ghost Gaming, his clock is still limited. Only 20 seconds left.
Logic works, but it's all your eggs in one basket. But there goes the ult. The orbital strike being used in the middle of main, right as they try to go out, and it's perfect. The Guard just keep funneling through, but now it's still a 2-on-2. 13 seconds left. They need to dash into the middle of the site. Slow orb in the middle, but a Proto gets both at the end. It was technically a 1v2 at the end too. Koala Noob so close to pulling it back, but just couldn't do it.
They just got like the most decadent tree. They filled up their ice cream cone, 3 scoops. You have so many ultimates available. In comes your orbital strike, your rolling thunder, your Ray's showstopper, and then they just dropped it on the floor. The second that they got it, Guard, they committed so much. No refund.
Dang.
They do get a timeout though. They have a moment to just cry, mourn the loss, slow down.
No, I mean I would too. This is very much a disappointing scenario for the Guard because again, everything that they had to use, they used in that round. And I mean, the first combo that they used, I mean, again, totally see the logic, but it was no information back over on Dish. They knew completely that players were coming in from A main, and both ultis were used just in combination back over in A main for good reason. If the Rolling Thunder and the Showstopper works, that's easily 2-3 frags.
Yeah, it's really nice if it does pay off. Unfortunately for them, none of it did in that round. For Ghost Gaming, though, I want to talk about kind of the change in setup. Back on Ascent, for their attacking side, it was so many rounds where it was just like, try preset execute, try preset execute. We apply a little bit pressure in towards mid. Guard did so well to deny it, but in this game, Ghost are giving themselves second options. They're leaving these late round lurks for Koala Noob to hold space on the map. They force Guard to play their game. They force Guard to slow down, to take less of these kind of mid-round re-hits for space, and it's worked really well for them. Guard now, no money to work with. They're running out of gun rounds in this half, really.
Yeah, not too many left, but Guard, at least with their pistols, they're looking to combine at least a bit of their effort back over in B. There's 3 players on that front line looking to fight Arcade, but Koala Noob, this is funky. Holding on to the shorty, making sure that there's no funny business from the Guard.
Don't think the shorty will get rewarded, at least not yet. Goes to re-clear the space towards the underpass, and probably just look to take this as a B hit from one side. However, Carter well set up. Again, heavy presence in towards the nest. Lots of util across those players, but the Rolling Thunder goes on in, and both the players bounced up in towards Heaven.
Yep, and the boom bot's going to come in at the same time. There is no nade there for Nismo, but it is going to be the aftershock coming in, trying to clear out potentially the Raze around the corner. Raze v Raze. It's Jonah Pita actually win it out, but a Proto gets traded out immediately. Shorty does actually get rewarded. Koala Noob gets at least 1 at the very end of things, but it is going to be 6-1 going back to Ghost Gaming. And yeah, no, in the first 2 maps actually, we did get pretty much flawless scorelines, but this is pretty much close to it. 6-1 now, and if we get another round here from Ghost, I'm feeling deja vu.
It is feeling mighty similar to some of those previous maps, at least for that first one where Ghost Gaming was taking such a commanding lead. But again, this time it's on the attacking side. It's very much a shift, no more fade. It's a different style of play. It's slower. And Guard, they're kind of starting again at the first step. They had managed to adapt, build in. How do we counter this fade? How do we counter this setup that had been thrown? And now Ghost go back to a bit more of a standard composition, and it's just working really well.
Yeah. The same little approach here back over in Arcade. The Guard, they do switch things up by at least putting one back over in B main, but hello, Net. We just didn't see that from the Guard at all.
Yeah, we've been waiting for something like that to happen. Obviously,
yeah.
Ghosts were conditioning that they play slow, that you're going to be punished if you flank. But I think it is still kind of the play for Guard to be taking those fights, to be pushing forward.
Yep.
When you have a breach, even if they're holding it up, you can still get value out of that. Unfortunately, in this one, Ghost just a little bit more ready, and now it's a 4 versus 4 that favors them.
Yeah, very simply, I hope that doesn't stop them from pushing in the later rounds, because they need that map control.
Don't say that.
Need to keep shocking Ghost.
The ranked demons, if they hear the things you're saying, don't stop.
Whoa! I'm sorry.
Bad implications, man.
Bad implications indeed. You need quote unquote coordination for map control, folks. Quote unquote. 35 seconds left. Ghost Gaming, they are slowly making moves back over in Arcade, and that molly does work out for at least Valen to keep pushing up, and indeed it works out. Koala Noob coming out from the middle of site. There's still 2 players here. You have 1 player around the corner. I don't think they have any clue about Trent. Trent, no way! What? No, Trent! It's a disaster for Trent, and now Saya player in the 1v3 can't do anything.
Dude, the ice cream cones are just falling left and right. They're just dropping off on these rounds. That is an absolute heartbreaker yet again for Guard.
The graveyard of ice cream cones. This is just tragic.
He made the right play. He thought he killed Koala. Oh, that is so tough. That is so tough.
Just no words about that one.
And that was their opportunity, right? Guard was like on the precipice of winning that round.
Oh, that was it. If Trent actually gets that round.
That's probably the round. He holds on, denies a spike plant. They can probably close things on out. And now look at Guard. No money?
Yeah. Usually we see an awkward play like that, and it's just an awkward play. It doesn't actually have too many ramifications on the rest of the round, but that one absolutely did. The Guard now. Barely anything to work with. They did trying to pinch up back over in B. It could have been a great move, and actually, they cover up the trademark for them to potentially try to retake A main here, but it's not going to equate into anything. The Guard have full information. They have completely cleared out B main, completely cleared out A main. They know that they're near Dish.
Okay, this is going to get weird. 2 players flanking. But surely Ghost is ready for this, because it was only a trademark
they don't
on
have
one
any
side. They need to be
there,
prepared for someone to hold the back. Who will claim that job on Ghost?
No one's watching, though. Here they go. Nismo on the front side is going to approach with a showstopper, but that Rolling Thunder is so good. No, they revealed him. They found him, and they weren't able to get any kills out of it. It's going to be easy for a Proto, but Jonapi actually still somehow survives, and Saya player at the same time is able to get another kill. This is a 2v2 after the dust settles.
Now it's a race back towards this B site, but Net should be faster. Doesn't have the best weaponry to work with, just a Sheriff, but he'll establish on this angle, and Koala. But 1 HP, there's only 30 seconds to work with in this play.
Oh, crossfire in now, enacted for Saya player on Net, but it gets broken! But Saya doesn't care! You see the word on the top of your screen, and the Guard needed it. A thrifty round to put them back into this half.
From heartbreak to hope. It's just been reinstilled for Guard in finding that thrifty round on through. They recommit. They realize, hey, sure these guys are holding for, but eventually we'll get the right gamble on this flank on through. They commit to the play behind the ropes, and the delay isn't enough to force Ghost into a really disadvantageous position.
Well, here we go. The Guard. Just last week, this is actually, once again, deja vu. 2 rounds on defense was all they got against 100 Thieves. Now they've already gotten their 2 against Ghost, and not only that, but they have the cash, they have the space too. What is this over in A main? Trent trying to play a bit cheekily now behind his wall.
Are they going to wall boost again? Ghost loves doing this in their previous series as well. When they were playing against Xset, they committed to these plays quite a lot. It's a risk, but when you pair it with the Breach Flash, you can find a lot of value. Here goes the play, down goes Trent.
So how's the approach? 2 players watching the edge of A. The smokes go up, and it's going to cover them. These 2 players now from the Guard that were watching these extremities would need to push it out if they want any sort of effect. It's just not going to work out. They wait for the rotation. It's going to be a full 4v4 retake here for the Garden. They've already made the first step. They've dropped out of heaven. Now they could potentially take down 1 or 2 in the middle of the site. Saya player with a good angle. Oh, Koala Noob, the timing. He comes off of the angle, and Saya takes him down. This hero play, though, John QT back over in main, could do it all, but he gets none. It's a 2v3. Make it a 1v4, excuse me. Brock, the last one remaining. He has nowhere to go. He's smoked out. They know he's there. The Guard have a third.
Yeah, it's done. He'll just be forced to fall away in this one. Guard, what an excellent retake to come out of him. Initially, it starts strong with that up shot connecting for Saya player, but on the other side, Ghosts get themselves in the right position to make that hit a reality. They claim the space over towards the north side. They completely take hold towards the south, but they never held on to Sands, and Guard just used that as a stepping off point. Clear together, work their way back on in, and managed to pull off their third round. I like this
and
pause.
Timeout too. Yeah, this is a great pause. Ghost Gaming, they could easily still rack on a massive amount of rounds by the very end of this half, still get a 9-3 half going. They can somehow manage themselves off of the next, but the Guard are finally seeing their effect in terms of course, that initial contact. But we've seen a little bit more experimentation from them in the last few rounds, a little bit more map control, a little bit more utility in the back choke points, and it just seems to be the little edge they needed for finally a few rounds.
Yeah, last week was incredibly slow for Net, specifically on this map, and I feel like he's doing a lot better, both for himself and for the squad in this series. In a lot of these rounds where Guard is kind of taking that flank control, trying to fight forward, it's all off of Net's util, and individually he's doing well for himself as well. Ghost Gaming, though, fair few items to discuss, but I believe they're around the corner from a few of these big ults. I wouldn't hate to see some kind of change of pace here, step things up, specifically over towards B. They've realized that setup is normally pretty heavy towards the nest. They've managed to punish that a few times, but Guard 2 will make a bit of that change, now giving Saya a lot of freedom in his positioning on the operator.
Here we go again, yet another round, full rifle round. Oh, I'm not gonna say full, Brock has to stick onto a Spectre, but pretty much full here. Here we go. Ghost Gaming. At least with the same approach that we've seen a couple of times back over in A main, and it's almost literally thwarted the same way as we've seen it before. A wall up over in A main at least tempts them to potentially try to stack it up again, but they do just break it down.
Lots of space here for Guard. Yeah. They hold the...
This is so dangerous.
They hold the fort over towards the north side of that map, and Ghost, they do want to, again, just make one of these hits over towards south side of A, but when it is a duel from one front, Guard can feel comfortable to concede that space, hold back towards heaven, but now, with that smoke through, these players are actually locked in towards the site, but the delay's excellent. Net throws out the aftershock.
They know exactly where both of them are, though. Net has been throwing out this utility from the same exact spot. Koala Noob knows where he is, but it doesn't matter. Net just wide swings, and he gets 2 of them for free, and he should be able to get more, and indeed he gets more. 4th one for Net? Why not? They fall right into his net, and it's easy for him. A 4th round for the Guard with a 4K from Net.
Last round before the switch.
Yeah, Guard, they've realized that proactivity is their best friend in this matchup. Taking space early towards the north side of the map, fighting their way around those trademarks. Ghost Gaming, while their executes have been good, they still feel like they have a bit of a reliance on these trademarks to hold space, and they generally kind of are still committing to a lot of these 4-1s or just like 5-0 full-on hits. Guard have finally realized that and are taking such great advantage. If they can find a 5th round here, they do put themselves in a pretty reasonable position heading into the swap.
Play, let's play.
Oh, very reasonable. It's very, very common half-line for 5-7, especially the way that we started things off. It was 7-1 at one point. Now here we go, the Guard. They have 3 players here on B. Only 2 of them are actually cross-firing back over on stairs, but it's actually a great place to do so. They have a lot of utility to potentially stop this. They have a molly and a nade, but it's only going to be the late nade to come out. Jonah P alongside Val, and they had the crossfire, and indeed they converted. Wall is up though, revive is up. Will Brock be able to hold? Out goes the white swing from Val, and it actually does work out for even more kills from the Guard. Jonah P and Valen collecting 2 each one of them, and now John QT a Proto, both stuck behind the wall, both still trying to get some sort of mileage out of this round, and indeed a Proto does start things off right. A 1v3 now. John QT stuck behind the wall, plays peekaboo, and Net still takes him down. 5-7 scoreline going into the second. The Guard, it finally looks like they have at least stuck the landing.
The burden of an 0-2 start surely weighs heavily on both of these squads as Guard and Ghost find themselves neck to neck here on map number 3 of Fracture.
We heard earlier, neither one of the multiple teams that we got with 0-2 last season made it to the playoffs. So again, it's just that sign of disaster if we end up getting, of course, an L from one of these two teams by the very end of this half. How's the early approach, though? Ghost, they want to start things off strong, booting on the Jets.
Yeah, they do, and it's going to be a fight over towards the north side. Tough start if it was 0-2. Only one team, I believe, able to survive out of split number 1, but Ghosts are actually really slow in this one, just contacting up, not giving information just yet, and now they realize that, hey, it's forthcoming. They still don't know which site it's headed towards, but a trademark over towards B main should give an early indication, and 3 players will be ready to fight from the north side.
How do they actually approach, though? Do they actually come in from the north side? They don't. All 3 of them actually opt to go down potentially towards stairs, and that one way is actually perfect, essentially. Ned's able to get one from that, more damage being done to John QT and a Proto, but now all 4 of these players are stuck approaching from Arcade.
And it's weird because it's not even intended as a one-way, but works in that fashion too.
Yeah, no.
As it sticks out through the floor. Now Ghost, it will be the north side for the majority of this fight back in. Good flashes to deny Saya's position, so Guard looking to hold from off-site, and the smoke is already up.
Oh, how did they actually stop this? Nade going in, dropping in. Brock still alive and still defusing a 3v3. It's so agonizing seeing so many players alive, but the spike does get defused. And that's around back to Ghost.
Painful one to be losing there if you're Guard. They set themselves up in a pretty good way early, hold heavy towards the south side of the map, get a good execute free out towards that site, but for Ghost Gaming, the work back in is in their favor. They saved up their utility on the Brimstone and on the Sage and just managed to stick that and, well, stick the landing to get things started in the right direction.
Ghosts are still going to maintain a bit of a stronghold back over in A. It's that same 3-man approach that we saw back over in Dish, but they maintain a 4th man in terms of John QT. In the middle of that site. Again, a bit of a tough decision, at least, of course, to me, because, of course, they're the ones with the rifles. They're the ones with the better guns. If they don't find anyone back over in A, the Guard could find an easy path into B.
They could, and high on this lurk could actually be really good for Saya player. Ghost, again, heavily invested just to hold that space in bridge, and now that means Saya's worked his way outside, but John should be wary of this. He's jiggling on the angle, but could this be a false bit of information? They only spot 1 over towards this site, but it's soon to be more. Guard rotate all 5 of their players towards A, and so too do Ghost, or at least they'll eventually commit to it. For now, they're again just working this space in the underpass, making sure no tomfoolery is going on at B. They have that assurance. Now they'll probably just look to take this fight from the flank, which means the round in large part is on Net.
Yeah, they're gonna have to hard clear this corner.
They do.
Indeed they do. Net goes down in a heap. Koala move around the corner. Only has the headhunter! And the headhunter just connects onto Valorant out of nowhere in the middle of that crowd. Trent and Saya player, the last 2 players alive, and it is so tough for these 2 players to even have a chance. The Saya player actually strikes on a very good one onto Brock, but a Proto, Nismo, the last 2 players to get frags. 3 players live at the very end for Ghost. Not too bad. 9-5.
Not too bad at all. Only losing out on a few members in that round. And now the question is, have the Guard made the realization yet at how heavy these bridge crunches have been? Because both of these initial rounds, Ghosts have done it and found absolutely no one. There's no trademark holding that space. There's no players holding that space. And I'm wondering if that's the reason why Guard take this time out. And MC saw something. He realized, hey, something's weird with the way Ghosts are playing these rounds. Maybe a gap in that one, so they want to touch base early. I mean, a loss to the bonus round of Ghost would be debilitating. It would practically end the series, so I don't hate the timing on this one.
No, it's great. No, this is exactly the time that we need a timeout here for the Guard. But like you said, again, there's just that one piece of information. There's just that one gap that they're missing. Again, no utility back over in their own spawn to actually catch that up, nor have we actually seen any lurkers be able to catch on maybe a 1v2 or 1v3 back over towards that area. Another thing that we have to start worrying about, though, is potentially the early approaches from the Guard and potentially how spread out some of these players could actually be. We have been seeing more group approaches, but last week it wasn't exactly that. We ended up seeing a couple players from the Guard dropping some very important 1v1s just off of the fact that they were trying to get map control on lurks.
It's a two-sided coin on Fracture. Really, the only way you can get that map control is the heavier fights towards the extremity.
Absolutely.
When you're in the defense, you're always playing from that deficit. But on the attacking side, I agree. I definitely love to see them fighting a little bit more to control this space. And they do split it up. 3 players towards the north, 2 towards the south, a split over towards B. But Ghost as well. They've made a change. They just want to fight heavily towards the B ramp. His footsteps are
Very
heard.
quick one. Yeah, no flashes either. Saya player actually somehow finds an angle through the smoke. He gets a kill pretty much out of nowhere. There's so many pixels for them to aim on.
The nade combo!
The nade! What? They were trying to jump off of the ramp essentially onto the ropes, but the nade actually catches them both. Just a disaster. But we have to keep going. Site has been taken by the guard. Ghost now 4v3 with Spectres.
Did the guns fall off the map? I see pings. I think the guns just fell off the map, so I don't know if too much can actually be recovered out of that one. It'll still just be the Spectres for the work back in. And look at Jonah. He's already pushed his way deep in towards spawn, and yeah, guns are gone. No weaponry to work with, bar what was brought into this round for Ghost, but already taking this fight. Sagewell is still available to block off that spike.
Jonah P again with that cross, needs something out of this to make it work. And indeed he gets one, but again, super low, a proto, sneaking through the smoke. That may just be it, but Nets, he does the exact same, 50-50 through the smoke, and he does it again! Walks out through the molly, and surprises double. A Red Bull clutch back for Net. Mimi, we are getting a spicy matchup.
That is absurd that he manages to pull that off straight through the molly, makes the decision instantly, and wins things on out. I mean, such a weird piece of micro that might have just had such a big implication on that round. Losing the 2 guns, having them fall off the cliff there, if they had picked up the rifles, that could have been a different story. There was 2 1v1s there that came down to Spectre versus Vandal. Those little things make a big difference, but still, aren't getting out that round scot-free. Their money is in a pretty tight spot here based off how close Ghost pushed it.
Nismo around the corner, just not able to get anything. Again, the satchel that just immediately came out. He would have still been alive by now, but Jonah P coming in, showstopper, middle of sight. Will he actually connect on the Brock? Oh yeah, point blank, 66 HP. Man is still alive. 3 players now remaining for Ghost. Can they even approach this?
Yeah, I don't know if they'll even want to commit on into it. Kolanu with that operator in hand, and the answer seems to be no. I'll hold down the fort. Great hit out of guard. Just simple stuff. Take the duel over towards Dish. Combine your breach utility off of that. It's enough to claim them around.
So the game just keeps getting closer and closer. Ghost, though, absolutely need to save the next round to even, slightly be possible. Again, we are looking at a reset. With this op being saved up by Koala Noob, he will get the Tour de Force immediately after. A Proto, not going down, but he should get that Orbital Strike within 2. It's not all bad here for Ghost, but for the guard, I mean, just the way that they ended up making their way through Dish, it was all really easy pickings.
That operator getting saved on through for Koala Noob could be a big piece in this round. Thus far, the play on that, he hasn't been taking too many forward fights, but lots of opportunities here on Fracture, especially with if you pair him up with someone like Brock. Flash forward, establish your chamber on the line, then the breach can completely leave, and you've established yourself like a CCTV camera holding one side of the map. In this one, it looks like the setup will be taking position over towards the north side by B. And for the guard as well, they do want to split in this area, so Koala Noob, right spot! It's nearly the collateral, but still, one frag found.
Nearly the collab, but Koala Noob could definitely get more to try to compensate for it, shifting his way.
If he just rings around the rosy, gets another orb here, Trent has Resurrection. And no one in Ghost is really in position to deny it. It still is favorable because they'll force out that ultimate and buy a heck of a lot of time off the clock.
Yeah, again, nobody currently in tower, no one currently in the middle of Cypher B, so like you said, orb is completely out in the open.
Yeah, and the Aftershocks on the other side of the map, no breach in position, so no one will be able to deny this one. Jonah P back into the thick of things, but in all this time, Guard could have lost a lot of space. They're realizing that now. They had Jonah holding towards the bridge, but the trademark was rather deep, so someone could have walked up deep in towards A main. People could be walked up towards Dish, which is the truth. Timing! Koala walks forward, did not run
He's
the
going for
moment that
more.
he's about to come through, and now he's in trouble with the orbital strike on his back end.
Yeah, he still has 65 HP after that, but a Proto was watching his cross. Now it's the crossfire here for Koala Noob, but alongside a Proto, it's a third kill for Koala Noob. It's a second one for a Proto. Not the double triple, but again, it's still going to be another round for Ghost. If there's ever a time for Ghost to step out, it's that round.
And that they do. 10-7 now. Claim Koala Noob finding so much impact out of the operator. I love the way that this team have shifted Koala through the time they've had him on the roster. Initially, he was really a role player for the team, flexing on over to the Omen, playing so much.
Yeah.
They realize the prowess he has with the op, switches to Jet, and once Chamber becomes prevalent, it's another easy switch, and it gives Nismo an opportunity to thrive on these more supportive roles. I think the setups and this meta specifically plays really well to Ghost's strengths, and they're taking great advantage of it. And again, a different look here. This time the stun, I'd imagine, will go forward. Koala gets on the line off of that, and hey, look, that's just walking straight on into it.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. Net sliding into the crosshairs of Koala Noob, but Saya player doing the exact same thing. He's actually just inching his way up. Koala Noob not expecting anyone to actually be that close, but look at how safe he's being. He's actually cleared off that corner. And he could actually just be holding back on A. Indeed, that's what he's doing. No risk whatsoever back over in A main. He wants to help out his teammates that are getting pressured out. Of course, back over in Dish. The shot from Koala Noob does miss out, though. But Brock is there for a big one. And Nismo with a showstopper. This has to be a frag. When will the smoke dissipate? Oh! Nismo! How did that showstopper not catch anyone? It might have just gone a bit too far away from Jonah P. But Koala Noob still trying to fight back. Still trying to point and click, but it just doesn't work. Jonah P somehow still alive with 6 HP, but it's only a 2-on-3 for guard. They found a bit of space with Jonah P, and it's 6 HP left on Brock. But John QD cleans up the last two. It's 11-7 for Ghost, inching their way closer to the finish line.
That spells disaster for guard. That was their round where they had a big opportunity to work on in, but again, it's Koala Noob in these opening engagements, so expertly set up. A rendezvous through the wall, so there's no opportunity for anyone to break it on down. A stun to get you on the line, and Net had no idea that was even a possibility, or it didn't even cross his mind. Falls for nothing. The money is gone. Guard, looks like they're probably going to have to be playing for overtime here.
You want to play? Let's play.
Ooh, that early wall. It's going to lead as a little bit of a red carpet back over towards elevator. Here comes Brock looking for a couple, but again, the pistols, they're just overwhelming in terms of space. Ghost can wait here, zero issues, and just try to face on these pistols, but they still use the Rolling Thunder, and they still regain the space, and they're still able to get 2 kills. Through the smoke, a Proto gets 2 free ones, but Trent is the last one remaining on a 1v5 who strikes down on at least one.
Get a gun. It's something to work with in this round, but 1 versus 5 feels just a bridge too far, and that it will be. Koala was on one side with the Tour de Force on the other. The second op of John getting just as well. Map and series point here for Ghost Gaming.
An upset through and through the guard. Representing NA. Force back in Reykjavik, but Ghost, their debut here in VCT in 2022, they could be able to take a massive win, but it has to come down to this next round, and it has to come down to, once again, the same kind of flow that we've gotten every round. Will Koala Noob actually get something early? Will we get any sort of early contact back over in B main? Guard, not one to make map control actually happen early on, but they are all ones to make takes happen.
Wall boost is ready. John can pop up, but Proto can join him if they want. It would be a really interesting off angle that I imagine will come off contact of the wall on the other side. Out comes Trent's
the
wall.
timing.
Is there a reply on the boost? There it is! Absolutely! That's great! Out of a Proto, they fall away, are comfortable with the 1-for-1 trade, and now just look to play the retake.
The counter was good for a quick second. John QT striking away at the middle of sight, but this is now it. A 5v4. Ghost Gaming could complete a big one here against Guard, but again, you have to watch out back over in Arcade. One player coming up, Nismo. He will face on a 1v1, but more importantly, Trent takes down Koala Noob. Valen doing the same. Can Guard stay alive? And they are slowly chipping away. Only 2 players remaining, Brock and John QT. Both trying to come in from different spots here. That from Connector and mid, and yeah, that has to be it. Net and Saya player both take him down. And now I'm just hyping up the fact that Ghost has a chance of winning, but of course, the Guard are taking the chances that they have. They've taken the spaces that they get. They are taking an 8th.
Still, I really like that round from Ghost Gaming. They realized the possibility Guard just taking that hit over towards me. They have a wall boost ready. They get rewarded for it. But unfortunately, the players on the extremities both lose out on their duels, and it just kind of comes down to not having space. It would have been a great pinch if pressure could have continued to be applied from both of those extremities, but it doesn't happen in this one. So now, Guard, they lessen that gap. 4 rounds away from overtime.
Early approach back over in Arcade, a bit unorthodox from what we've seen before, and indeed, it's going to go against them. Koala Noob gets an early frag.
And there's players still ready to push here over towards the bridge. I'd imagine those players will start their aggression right about now. We'll set up a really heavy flank play for the retake on the B site. Practically the same exact situation as we saw in the round previous, but in this one, the force over towards bridge is so much heavier, and that means this round is very much reliant on how much Valorant can get done.
Valen, here we go! Can't get anything! The one contact he gets is the one contact he loses. Nismo takes him down. Now here comes the retake from Ghost. They crossfire it up in the middle of site, and they're not able to find anyone. So here we go. It's only tower. It's only site that they have to clear. Trent gets a big one off rip, but again, smoke in the middle. Saya player gets one. It's a 1v4 for Trent. It's a disaster so far for the Guard. They can somehow try to trust Trent, but it just doesn't work. Ghost Gaming pull off a massive upset to evade 0-2.
A 2-1 victory there for Ghost, and so well deserved.